Hey guys, it is 1 o'clock in the morning on Friday, May 29th. What am I doing up? Have no idea. Things on my mind, I think. So I'm going to play you just a really short clip of Phil Kinson from the Bible study in Graham this past Tuesday night, and then I'm going to read something to you.
Anybody else have ever been there? Have you ever just say, well, this person's wrong, that person's wrong, the other person's wrong? Just run down a whole list. Is your name at the top or the bottom? Jesus, beholding him, loved him. And I really like that so much because he realized this kid's got a problem and can't even see it. And when all you can do is see the problems in everybody else, and find fault with everybody else, and totally justify yourself in every way, you're the one with the problem. You are. And you're going to get mad, and you're going to vent, and you're going to tell everybody off. How mature is that? None of that is maturity, is it? It's pure childishness, isn't it?
As I'm playing this back, I'm thinking to myself, is Phil talking about Mike from the services over the weekend? Because it absolutely fits. It fits. And you know, because I've shared the clips already. And I'm going to read something to you that I want you to juxtapose against what you just heard Phil say. So in this letter that Vic Johansson shared on FactNet back 2005, he was responding to a portion of what someone in a previous post had said. And that person had said, I don't think that it's fair to say across the board that people in NTCC don't talk to people who leave. And Vic wrote, that's true, but it doesn't change the fact that shunning is indeed generally practiced toward those who choose to leave. Some time ago, a friend and I were on a road trip together when we received news that his parents were visiting his brother. The man he was on a road trip with was Phil Kinson's brother, and he received news that his parents were visiting his brother, Phil, who lived near where we were. His brother is in the NTCC hierarchy and was one of my closest friends during Bible college days. So Phil's brother called, and since the brother wasn't home, asked his sister-in-law, Debbie Kinson, if it was okay for us to stop by and see the folks. And she was agreeable. So we went over, and the wife was very gracious, and we enjoyed the company of my friend's parents. Then his brother came home, Phil came home, and although he seemed uptight at first, he loosened up after a while, and I thought we had a nice visit. But a couple weeks later, my friend got this letter. Dear, and he addressed his brother, however, I have no idea. I'm writing this letter in response to your most recent visit. You should have contacted me, not my wife, to find out whether or not you were welcome, but you did not. I was ashamed. And I did not appreciate the fact that you were here when I came home from teaching my class. I don't know why I was ashamed. You did not give me a chance to let you know that you were not welcome. You should not have done that, and I'm writing to make sure that will not happen again. When you left this organization, you left me also. You knew that, and so I expect you to abide by your decision. I will not fellowship with people who find fault with those that God has placed in authority. This includes you, Vic, and the whole bunch that you run with. I'm ashamed of how you dragged Mom and Dad into this. I'm not sure how they dragged them into anything, because Phil's brother is the son of this mom and dad too. And I will not hesitate to let them know that it is not because you left that I've broken fellowship, but it's because you have become a fault finder. But it is because you have become a fault finder and have worked to undermine the faith in others. When I first got saved, you asked me to do something that I have never forgotten. You said, if you ever decide to go back into the world, will you please tear the sign down? I don't know what that means. You shared maybe the sign that you're a Christian. I have no idea. You shared that you had been hurt by so many others that had made promises but would not live the life. You said you had an emotional band-aid on your heart, and that prevented you from getting too excited even about my conversion. May I ask the same favor? I wish that you would admit that you are wrong, if not to others, at least to yourself, but your pride will not allow it. When I saw the picture that Mom had of your daughter, she was wearing pants. This confirmed what I already knew. I did not notice whether or not her hair was cut, but if it is, it only shows more of how far you have gone. I have to insert here, how far has Phil gone to be a part of the leadership that protects pedophiles, abusers, molesters, allows them back in? I shared texts last year between Phil and a young teen girl who was asking him for help, and he never gave it. So, you're worrying about pants and hair is a bit much. You left this work, and it's the work, it's the organization, and you undermined the faith of your wife. You have aligned yourself with those who have compromised and who find fault with the leadership of this church. I receive this as an attack upon my Christian stand because his brother came to see his own parents, and they happened to be at his house, and they called first, and Debbie said, okay. I receive this as an attack upon my Christian stand and upon my separation from those who find fault with the leaders that God has chosen. You have worked to destroy the holiness seed sown in the hearts of the family, and you have brought shame to the gospel. You have forced me to do this. I do not understand your renewed interest in me, but I will not let it affect me. You are no longer welcome in my house, and I will not fellowship with you at all. It's not my fault that you have chosen this road. I love you and care about you very much. You helped me to get saved and to know Jesus, but I cannot and will not have anything to do with those who are against God and His church. You will not affect me, and I am ashamed to have to do this, but you left me with no choice. Why is he ashamed? Because he knows it's not right? It's one thing to say, I hate doing this, but you left me with no choice. But to say, I am ashamed, he said, I am ashamed twice. Goodbye, signed, and I guess he signed his name, goodbye, to his brother. Now, Vic went on after sharing this letter to say, now from the tenor of this letter, you would think that my friend lives a debauched life, but those who know him can testify to his right spirit and utterly harmless nature. As is typical, his offense was to leave the organization and after he left, relax some of their man-made rules. When he left, I heard his wife criticized by the leadership of NTCC for deciding to remain with him. Now his own brother has virtually disowned him. This isn't right, but it's just one example of many such things that happen when people make the decision to leave. I know this man, and I know that down inside he has a better nature than his actions would indicate. But unfortunately, he has allowed himself to be influenced against that better nature. And Vic here is talking about Phil when he says, I know this man, and I know that down inside he has a better nature than his actions would indicate. I'm glad he said that because whenever Phil shares a story of himself from Bible school days, he kind of sounds a little jerky, really. And I wanted to share this because it bothers me. Families are split up because I've watched it my whole time in NTCC and afterwards. It is a prevailing theme. Keeping children from their parents, keeping husbands and wives apart, brothers and sisters, aunts, uncles, grandmas, grandkids. It's horrific and it's gross. But I'm thinking of this man up there saying these things in a Bible study, and my one thing was, I hope with the condition of his mom and how much his family must be in a real sad state of mind right now. I hope, and maybe it happened a long time ago. I hope so. I don't know. I want to start asking around. But I hope he has made things right with his brother and his brother's family, and that they're a part of each other's lives, especially now. Because no parent wants to see their children not right. Well, I would say most parents don't. They don't want to see. They want to see their family close and there for one another. And to put a corporation before family, I'll ask, is that Christian? Is that a Christian thing to do? Is that a Christian tenet or doctrine in the New Testament? In the King James Version of the Bible? This isn't just about Phil. This is from 21 years ago when he wrote this. Actually, it was shared 21 years ago. It very likely happened before that. And you can read FactNet archives all day long and see how those in the group, including yours truly, thought about stuff like this. If you left the organization, you left God. And because they lied about everyone, Joe Olson lied, Mike Keckle lied, Roger Davis lied, Phil Kinson lying to his own brother, saying things, and possibly to his own family about his brother, and possibly affecting his wife and her view towards her brother-in-law and that side of the family. Why can't anyone, and why didn't anyone, just wish people well? Godspeed. We'll be praying for you. We'll be thinking about you. We're here if you want to stop by and say hello. It's not a thing. I really hope that anyone out there that you know, or maybe you yourself are apart from friends and family, that you will resolve to fix that. There's a lot of friendships in NTCC that were on the surface. You knew it right away when you left. But while in, there are some friendships that were very special. And aside from friendships, family. To allow splits in family over a corporation that only cares about money and property.
When I see brethren who claim to be brethren saying, I don't want that person in my life anymore, I think about the lack of Christianity in that soul. The lack of character, that lack of understanding, that lack of willingness.
It's just the saddest thing to me. As a mom and a grandma, we need those strong connections. And there's an emptiness when it's not right. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you because that letter is so egregious and so horrible. And I really hope that that little family can all be together and find strength and comfort in one another in the days ahead. And I wish that for anyone else who's in the same predicament because of this group who does not care. They don't care about your relationships. They can have their own all day long, but you can't. Okay, guys. More over the weekend. Lots more to come. Lots. Thanks for listening and commenting, whether it's publicly or privately. I appreciate it so much.